seeing what's in front of my eyes. 2 and 2 are 4.
Sometimes. We've had all that us before. Sometimes they are 4, sometimes, if the state says so, they are 5. How many fingers?
I'm trying to see 5.
Which do you want? To persuade me that you see 5 or really to see them?
Really to see them.
Point 6.
Point 6.
Now how many fingers?
4. 4. What else can I say? 4.
Point 20.
Point 20.
You were once curious about room 101. It's not one room, but many. This one, for instance. We will lead you, step by step, to the point from which there is no return. Never again will you be capable of love, or friendship, or joy of life, or laughter, or courage, or curiosity, or integrity. You will be hollow. We will squeeze you empty, and then we will fill you with ourselves, with love of Big Brother. Now, before we begin your cure, are there any questions you would like to ask?
Yo, peace, 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 peace. Wake up. It's 1984. This is Wise again. You know, it's a beautiful morning. You know, the sun, soul, you know, whatever you want to call it. Many ancient societies call it many different names, depending on the times of the year and the actual age that they were living in. I refer to it to many things: the true source, the false light, etc. We can go on, but today's discussion is not necessarily about the zodiacs and the celestials. So I'm back again. I do miss the in-game channel, so I still have that intro, but you are actually on the underground because YouTube decided to remove me when I was speaking about the many false flags that can happen in Ukraine, and it has. And just to get this out the way, United States will, and this is just me speaking out of premonitions and visions that I've gotten, United States will sidestep Ukraine and pretty much paint Ukraine out as being a rogue, bad little child who just is uncontrollable. Who, you know, in other words, you know, we work with Ukraine, but you know, we're so shocked that Ukraine would do such a thing after we told them not to do it. So Ukraine will be used as a patsy and truly destroy themselves. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you bargain with Satan and when you bargain with Lucifer and its false, fake kingdom. So I'm going to try to make this as concise and as clear and as interesting as I possibly can today in this underground. The underground is just pure, direct, true. You know, this is just how it should have been. Straight, keeping it real type stuff. And we're going to, you know, I'm going to highlight some things and I'm going to say a lot of quotes. So get your tea, enjoy this information. And I think this will give you even more. Hopefully this will give you guys out here even more clarity about what we're up against, who these people are, and what's behind them. And I'm going to weave in a lot of different things, a lot of different fun little things that, you know, here and there, and hopefully be able to, you know, address any questions or comments you guys mention. So peace as always to Yeah Right for checking us out. Ice Wolf, Nicole, Goblin Life, Ice Wolf, and anybody else that decides to, you know, to just, you know, give me the time of day and, you know, just, you know, invite me into your minds and your hearts, you know, for an hour and a half. And I really appreciate it. Hey, Trey, much love to you. And, man, maybe it's a reason why you got your internet up and decide to check in. So let's begin, man, because this is interesting, and this is just I'm excited because I because I hope people get it. The fourth industrial revolution, Klaus Schwab, and I'll say this as a thesis. The fourth, they only call it the fourth revolution because they failed the first three times. They only call it the fourth revolution because they failed the last three times. They've tried over and over and over again to go against you and to go against nature. They've tried many different ages, many different eons, many different centuries, three times. Some people go back to ancient Egyptians. Some people go back to the days of Lemuria. Some people go back to, you know, some cases even wars, this reset, whatever it is. But I tend to look at this as being a rehash, a replay of various attempts to bring their will on this earth. Ice Wolf mentioned the fourth industrial revolution equals the Fourth Reich. That could be very possible. In my research on this channel, or under my moniker, under my name, for those who followed me, we've discussed how this thing called the Nazi shot. I've showed you how Pfizer and their connections to Wacker Chemie, DuPont, and all these Nazi-backed based chemical companies that was a part of the Fourth Reich. So this could also be their moniker or their slick, symbology language as a Maidan call to their troops that's out there tucked away in Argentina. They might be in their 80 years old or 70 years old right now, or 80s, but nevertheless, it could be a cat call for all their psychopaths to rise up out of their catacombs and to try to once more uh, shape society, shape this world, shape this universe in their own will. So whether the fourth industrial or the actual number fourth has symbolic references to the Nazi third or fourth Reich, or whether the fourth revolution has occultic ramifications to the four elements, and being able to control these four elements, or whether the fourth revolution or industrial revolution is merely a fourth failed attempt, because it will fail, a fourth effort to bring the satanic, Luciferian, black magic sorcery world into existence, because they are a dying race and a dying species. This is, goblin life. This is going back into perhaps Babylonian, Molochian like concepts. So what age, or maybe it was a pre-age, right? It was an age where their race of people was so outnumbered, during an age where humanity was vibrating at a different frequency, and uproot, or from somewhere from beyond, right? From earth they came, right? Kind of like what they refer to as the Elohims, or some people refer to it as the Anunnakis. Some people refer to it as the fallen elves, or the fallen, the Elohims, or from earth they came. You talk about the giants and the story of Enoch, and you get more into that, right? Enlil and Enki, and they say from earth they came. So whatever these people came from, or the species came from, their first official overthrow of the universal creator's plan in your life, plan in this realm, they attempted to overthrow. Could that have been the first revolution. Think about that word revolution as I play on that word when I'm talking, because that's what they call it, the fourth revolution. And I really apologize, guys. I just realized misspelled my name, and let me fix that. There we go. Sorry about that. Misspelled the fourth and everything. I'm just having problems this morning. But I want you to understand a couple of things as I share out in our tea discussion. Intellectuals, right? Intellectuals having intellectual discussion. That this man, Karl Marx, has in his life had a dream, a fetish, if you will, in wanting to topple not you, well, indirectly you, but not necessarily me or you. His fight wasn't so much against capitalism, this other isms. We talk about the isms. His fight wasn't merely against capitalism like they want you to believe. His war was against God, nature. These people, and we talk about many different secret societies. And if you did your research, and I'm not talking to novice, I'm talking to intermediary, high level people who, you guys I look at as intermediate, mid high, high. If you're novice, you might want to go find a different truther channel, because things that I'm talking about, I expect you to already know. I expect you to already know some of these things. But if you did just your research on secret societies, occultic societies, whether the Brotherhood of Dragon, the Nagas, we can go on with the Brotherhood of Snake, the Jesuits. We can go on and go forth with all these different societies, and it's a lot of them. Boule, all it's thousands. That in reality, their concepts are always communist or socialist in nature. The Brotherhood of Saturn is a communist, socialist headed society. Most of these societies sprung up in, the 1930s, the 18th century, and even beyond, or before 1500 centuries, right? Even go back to Babylon, as we talked about, or as Goblin mentioned, Babel. So that at its core has always been about going against nature. One of the things that they hate about capitalism, or what they say, is that capitalism forces man to work, and that man's life should not be about only working, but it should be about the pleasures of life. This is one of the true tenets of communism and socialism, is that we shouldn't have to work all the time. Why do we have to labor so much for the bourgeoisie? Whereas in inherent ideology, they believe in idle mind and being able to, explore some of your society, some of your, desires and, you know, tendencies. And why not? Why should we work every day to achieve? And this is what I mentioned in my last live stream about the difference between motion and stagnation. That motion is in your frequency, is in your numbers, is in your systems. That vibration and frequency moves. That is life. And a flat line is death, which is stagnation. Communism does not like vibration in life and individuality and growth. They want death. They want destruction. They want things to be created in their will. So surely going against nature is one of the key tenets of what you're seeing. So you cannot dismiss this. And Karl Marx has, I just want to show you some of these screenshots here, but as we go forward, and this is more of a wake up type of live stream, I need you to get this, because if you don't get this, then anything that happens or things that progress in society, you're gonna always be trying to We're too busy trying to break down psyops. The biggest psyop is what I'm explaining. And every other sub psyop or micro psyop that happens from that is insignificant because it's all leading to the big psyop. I don't care if they stage shootings, if they stage a World War III, if they crash the markets, if they create a race war, if they pushed out another pandemic. Regardless of what it is all sub topics of the big psyop. The big psyop started back with the first industrial revolution when Satan, quote unquote, and his minions decided to revolt against the system, against, I don't want to say the system, against the creator and nature. That was the first industrial revolution here on earth. They've tried 3 times. Here's their fourth shot. Keep that in mind. So you have, as we covered some of this before, Karl Marx writing poems, love statements to Satan. This is who he is. This is not make believe. Early works of Karl Marx, a poem called The Fiddler. This is not make believe. This is in his own writings where he says, and I'll just kind of, summarize half of this crazy stuff. How so I plunge without fail, my blood-backed saber into your soul. That art God neither wants nor risks. It leaps to the brain from hell's black mist, till hearts bewitch, sense real with Satan. He says, this dude said he struck some type of deal or whatever, right? I must play till dark. I must play light till bow springs break my heart outright. Right? These people telling you that they could be children of the Babylonian witchcraft families, bloodline families that try to control that society. Then there's a lot of books out there that talk about how Lemuria, how Atlanteans, how they actually revolted, not revolted, but how they actually resisted these families that try to destroy their culture. And in doing that, pretty much their entire societies died. You wonder why we no longer see these mass populations of people, or these mass, you look at some of these monuments and statues, they're destroyed. There's books out there that give you some theories, and these are only just theories, that perhaps there was a great cataclysm where there was great civil uprisings against these people who was waging war against man and nature and God. And I say nature, I'm talking about the trees, the animals, the air, everything they wanted to create was a satanic kingdom on earth. You know? And I'm showing you in small steps as we lead forward that the foundation of the bloodline families, you say, who are they? We're going to examine who are they once I finish this. And then I'll let you guys, we could put a word on they. We could put you could throw some quotes by who they are. You know, these people were deeply corrupted, deeply fallen. There's other things I could show you, or other writings of Karl Marx where he talks about how he hates God, and how, it was one poem that he made, or one writing that he had, where he I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. He really laid it into God. Things are so stagnant every day. The 4 seasons, right? We got that 4, right? The 4 seasons, it's the same thing over and over again. This is boring, right? This is boring. And, and this is, this is not perfect. You call this perfection? Look at the trees. They die. Look at me. I got scars on my body. You call this perfect? I could build something perfect better than this. This is the type of mindset that Karl Marx had. Imagine his followers, like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and your local governments, your Canadian government, Justin Trudeau. And whether the Nazis was fascist or not, the Nazis at their base tenant was socialists, was the Socialist Party, socialism and communism. So you have to understand those. So you say, well, where do socialism and communism, where's this hatred for God coming from? I'll read something for you as we move forward, and we'll get there. I don't want to jump ahead, but I wanted you to just to kind of understand this poem, and just one of many writings of how he shakes his fist at nature, shakes his fist at God, and swear his allegiance to Satan. Now, whether or not we think Satan exists, or whether we think Satan is just a metaphorical conscious expression, right? Because we're conscious people, so we can look at Satan or hell as being a lower frequency, man being 666 because we're perfect, and when man reaches state of Vedic state or whatnot, right, man becomes 777. So we can metaphorically break numbers down, but the more you read these books and the more you study these people who are controlling and manipulating your society, manipulating your revolutions, manipulating your insurrections, are actually telling you outright that they worship an entity called Satan or Bartzabel. And you start to realize that no, maybe these are actual deities, actual energies, actual celestials that they're summoning, that is aiding them in the unseen here in the physical world and allowing them power and dominion over you and over nature for a certain period. Well, the only reason that works is because we don't know who we are, and we don't know how to fight back because we don't even know who they are. Start calling people out by their names. So the fourth industrial revolution, this term with Klaus Schwab and the Great Reset. But then when you go and you don't have to go deep into this guy. I mean, these people, you don't have to really do a lot of deep diving to really see who they are. For those who have the eyes to see, it happens. It happens instantly once you see him, once you hear him, once you read a sentence, once you watch his or listen to his words or watch his body language, you immediately get it. And I was going to do this whole thing on Klaus Schwab and go deep into his life, go deep into his bloodline, deep into his family, deep into his history. And I said, well, damn, I probably don't even have to do that. And I actually didn't, because this image here showed me enough. As I pull it up here. And that told me enough. As I make this a little bigger for you guys. That in his video, or one of his videos, most recent video, I believe, as he's sitting and talking about his industrial revolution, stood behind him a statue of Vladimir Lenin. Of Vladimir Lenin. And when I seen, obviously we knew who he was, and we actually kind of had an idea. I mean, you got to be living under a rock to not understand what his Great Reset is. I mean, I'm not here to go that simple, but let's go deeper. That these people are supporters and have followed the philosophy, the tenets of Vladimir Lenin, Karl Marx, Marxism, socialism, communism. So one can use deductive reasoning and assert that it is likely, very likely, that Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin had psychological influence on Klaus Schwab. Is that, that's about reasonable deduction, right? It's about a reasonable logic we can kind of conclude. And this is where we're gonna get midway, and this is where things get a little interesting. And I'll read some things to you guys, and I want you guys to think about this, okay? And I'll try to see if I could find some stuff on the fly. But I thought it was funny because Klaus Schwab reminds me of this guy. And you can't make this stuff up. Let's see. We'll do this one here. Klaus Schwab reminds me of this guy. Don't they look the same? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Make this stuff up, right? Let's go back. Look at them. All right. If you look at them both, right? And let me go back. Right. Okay, go back. Check that out. I mean, you have to think, because I'm gonna hit you with some stuff. I know I'm just joking, but I'm just like I said, I'm weaving a little humor in there, right? Let me read something to you guys, and I told you guys about this, and you really need to think about this because you know life is more than what you think, and there's remnants of truth dropped all around you because there's remnants of people that are chosen by the Creator to reveal things to you. We're not alone. I strongly believe, and I could probably do a video on this, that as much as these people have lived thousands of years, like Queen Elizabeth, who's definitely not the age that she tell you that she is, have lived multiple ages and multiple generations, there is also other entities that also are here in helping awaken us to who they are. I don't know how many or who, if it's more of them versus more of those other ones, but there is a fight for you and for nature and all things that are created by the universal creator. And these people have lingered around here for so many years and so many eons that in order to find who they are and to know who they are, it takes prayer and meditation and the creator to come into your life, and archangels and as we get into so many different things to come into your life to point you and reveal to you many things about who they are. In this movie, John Murdoch, matter of fact, let me just go here. Let me go forward. As I read this. All right. Think about this. In Dark City, John Murdoch awakens alone in a strange hotel to find that he is wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is that he can't remember whether he committed the murders or not. For one brief moment, he is convinced that he has gone completely mad. This is the individual in this book or novel movie. Murdoch seeks to unravel his twisted riddle of his identity, like us. As he edges closer to solving the mystery, he stumbles upon a fiendish underworld controlled by a group of ominous beings collectively known as the Strangers. Outwardly, the Strangers are uniform and pale, bald individuals. Outwardly, the strangers are uniformly pale, bald individuals dressed in form, concealing black coats and sometimes wear wide brim hats, unusual and often demonstrating a variety of eccentric mannerisms, but otherwise human to all appearances. However, these are only the vessels that they use to interact with humanity and protect their true selves. In reality, the strangers are transparent jellyfish like entities that use human corpses as hosts and disguises, and have permanently adopted their current host body to use in the aging human individuality. Though they are possessed of immense psychic powers and abilities, and their host bodies grant them their additional resilience, the strangers also possess a number of serious weaknesses. The true parasitic form of the stranger resides in the vessel's skull, ensuring death if the head is penetrated or cleaved open. Strangers cannot tolerate water. They hate the moisture. They hate human environments, and human and sunny environments repel them, and direct exposure to water kills them instantly. This is a severe handicap, considering that their test subjects, which is us, cannot afford to be without the substance. Similarly, the strangers cannot withstand sunlight and have gone so far as to turn their city away from the sun as it orbits, trapping the human population in a perpetual midnight, a fact they only fail to notice thanks to the stranger's ability to alter your memories. The hive-minded species, the strangers, congregate in vast numbers in the laboratory beneath the city, discussing current events in a Senate Congress-like gathering. Though they have adopted a number of individual traits into their society in their attempts to mimic their human test subjects, such as the concepts of dissenting voices and personal names, they tend to operate in groups. Though all of them possess the ability to tune to some degree, their powers are best utilized when gathered in large numbers. When they, people like Klaus Schwab, when they can focus their telekinetic energies to alter the structure of local reality on a massive scale. Similarly, when in the field, these strangers tend to work in groups of three, and here you guys go, in groups of 3 or 4. As such, a lone stranger in the field is a very rare sight. They love working in groups of 3 or 4. Your fourth, yes, your fourth again. Personalities among the strangers tend to be rudimentary and experimental at best. All of them have adopted names, but their primary scene based on random objects. Likewise, while they have adopted certain roles and certain personality traits, there is rarely any depth to these strangers. For example, one stranger named quote unquote Mr. Book, Mr. Hand, Mr. Wall, and Mr. Sleep, that's your 4 again, can also be brute and on occasion very contrary. It goes on to say, as I'm reading here, they says John, or the individual or the human who is asleep, is the first of them to demand the captive's execution. The other known exception to this rule is Mr. Hand, one of the strangers, demonstrating curiosity and fascination with John Murdoch as time goes on. A part of these crude attempts at demonstrating any type of personality, the strangers are otherwise uniform in their overall behavior. Most of them tend to speak in unnerving monotones. You ever heard Klaus Schwab speak? Most of them tend to speak in unnerving monotones and have a habit of ending their questions with the word yes. I'll give you an example, right, y'all? Like, you're like, yo, so, you guys understand what I'm saying? Yes. So you guys understand that this is an image of Klaus Schwab? Yes. They always talk like that. This is what this is describing, right? See, what I just did there. All right, let me finish here. Hold on. Let me get back to where I was at. Let's see. Okay, it says they always end their questions with the word yes. Occasionally they chatter their front teeth as if signaling to one another. And their activity they perform on the masses while they are tuning, often causing the entire laboratory, their entire cave system to resound with the echoes of the chattering teeth. Now, check this out. Little is known of the strangers' past history, their home planet, or their true species. All that is known is that they discovered that their species was on the verge of extinction. Their hive mind, unable to understand and withstand the disaster, they started dying in numbers. They decided to leave their world in mass. The survivors traveled the stars in search for a cure of their disease and eventually discovered humanity, which is us. Once they recognized that individuality of human beings, or once they begin to recognize the individuality of the human beings, they came to believe that there was something in them that might be able to save their race, something commonly known as the human soul. To that end, the strangers formed an immense space station, modifying it to resemble a human city from around 1920 to 1950. They then disguised their true form by using human corpses. They then abducted several thousand humans from Earth and made them residents in their city, erasing their memories and imprinting new memories every day when they went to sleep. However, they needed to experiment on the human mind to properly synthesize and mix the memories and also abduct their thoughts, their skills, and their personalities. Once they erase the memories of the past, ensuring that humans will never find a way back, even if they escape their control. Okay, so I'll kind of stop there. So you guys are like, man, well, okay, wow, all right, all right, all right, all right. You know, like, oh, Wise, where you going with this, man? Where you going with this? Now that's just a movie. That's just a movie layout. But a very, very eerily similar stuff that we talk about every day on this platform and other platforms, is it not? Right? See? So this is where I gotta stop at. I gotta stop into the sentence with a question. Oh my God. let me let me stop doing that. So anyway, so we see Klaus Schwab, right, with a image of Vladimir Lenin, right, in his background, which obviously means there is something about Lenin, or many things about Lenin, that actually affects his logic, his personality, his philosophy. You see the statue right there. Now, I just gave you guys a little bit of a dark city. I didn't want to do this too early. I wanted to wait, but you got that in the back of your mind now. So, who is Vladimir Lenin? Well, I'm going to read something to you, some things that I found actually about Vladimir Lenin, and then you can kind of ask yourself, why would this man, Klaus Schwab, why would he have a statue of Lenin in the background after I tell you some of the things that I'm going to tell you? For those who don't know, there is deep, dark rumors and deep occultic knowledge that Vladimir Lenin's great grandmother was a witch. There is occultic background knowledge that Vladimir great grandmother was burned and killed by Christians during whether the acquisitions or whatnot, because of her study of black magic. Okay. I'll read a few things here, and then maybe I'll decide to share that with you guys. But I want you to just sit back and just let me read these to you because I haven't read it all yet. And if I get prompted in my heart to share this link with you guys, I'll share it. But once again, you guys need to be careful. This is an essay, a very powerful essay from a source. Um, so I want you to read that. I want you to listen. The child who becomes a magician is ready to make an inhuman effort to force the world to conform to her desires. She becomes a witch out of inquiry, resentment, weakness, despair, melancholy, envy, jealousy, loneliness, the irreversibility of death, or they become a witch because of poverty. This person quotes, "When I was poor, I wanted to use sorcery to obtain 500 rubles so that I could buy a sweater." This is a Russian uh, person in Soviet Union during this time. A person or she also became a magician out of boredom. She was bored just to avoid being a Philistine. The main source of her magic force is her firm belief in herself, which she perhaps acquires at precisely her worst moments of loss and catastrophe. She desperately wants at any cost to do what others cannot do. She wants to be able to awaken the dead, bring a loved person back to life. She wants to enact revenge. She wants to turn back time and redeem a fatal error committed in her past life. A person who becomes a magician or study black magic has learned that something is fundamentally wrong. The world is wrong. The world is unjust. And this order of things can, in fact, be changed through black magic and sorcery. A magician challenges the order of things dictated by God. They also challenge the order of things dictated by nature. If the essential injustice, like your word injustice, right? The essential injustice of this reality, they call this reality unjust. When they say Black Lives Matter, injustice, right? Injustice. They think that, and this is me quoting here, guys, they think that the world, the way that the creator designed the world is an injustice. So let me go back. If the injustice of this reality, the domination of the rich over the poor, the strong over the weak. These people don't like the fact that there is the living over the dead, which is a law. The magician, the black magic sorcery, the witch, she wants to transgress this law and impose her own will in its place, i.e., Aleister Crowley, who practiced and studied the teachings of Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, just like these secret societies tell you, do what thou will, or do what thou wilt. That is the law, the whole law. They do not like the current law, the current order. They want to transgress this law and impose their own wilt in its place. So let me just highlight a few of these, and I may share this out. Like I said, I got to be careful here, and just listen along a little bit, and we'll see if I decide to share this with you guys, and you can read it too. But just be careful. So it says, just as I go back, it says, the magician or the witch challenges the orders of things dictated by God and nature. Right? This that I'm reading to you guys is talking about Vladimir Lenin's grandmother, or is paraphrasing or going into the mindset of Vladimir's family, who studied and has been known to study witchcraft. Let me see. Let me find. It says, let's return to Lenin and his great grandmother, the witch. Now we can look and try to figure out her name. It says, among the many things that Vladimir Lenin surely inherited from her was his insistence that miracles are possible. It is possible to make something out of nothing. That is, to transform something that is not into something that is, to bring something into being from something that is non-being. There's a author by the name of Ronald Bohr who he wrote a book called Lenin, Religion and Theology, where he talks about Lenin's crucial dimension to fuel his revolution. Lenin used to say that intelligent people do not believe in miracles that happen all of a sudden. At the same time, he developed an alternative conception of the miracle, insisting that people can perform them if they are enthusiastic enough. And Lenin and Aleister Crowley and all these people tapped into a lot of different frequencies. Aleister Crowley mentioned that every man is a star, every woman is a star. In Lenin's sense, every man and every woman is a miracle and a miracle woman. There is something demonic, as Lenin sees it. Miracles do not simply happen, and they cannot be ascribed to God or some other supreme being. They are performed by people or performed by people themselves. Lenin believes that the concepts of the revolution, that the word revolution, Lenin famously said that revolution is a magical miracle, that the word revolution is a miracle, that the word revolution is bringing something that doesn't exist into existence. You see, so you understand the power of this fourth industrial revolution, why he chose these words. Okay, talk about the socialist revolution. For Lenin, the radical breakthrough that is revolution is a miracle not created by God. Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit of a little sample of give you a snippet of something here. You could take this information and maybe go buy this book. So Ronald Bohr wrote a book called Lenin, Religion and Theology. Look for it. Check it out. So let me kind of get back to where I was. Let's see what else I can read for you guys. It says a dozen years prior in 1905, this is what Lenin says, or Karl Marx. He says, revolutions are the locomotives of history. Revolutions are the festivals of the oppressed and the exploited. At no other time are the masses of the people in a position to come forward so actively as creators of a new social order as at a time of revolution. So we talk about spirits and demons. This word revolution is they use that word as a way to garner energy. According to Bohr, the guy that just left the link for the book, Vladimir Lenin's overt usage of the word miracle lays its emphasis on human energy, effort, and enthusiasm. Yet it requires stupendous moments for such miracles to occur. Moments that evoke almost superhuman effort from those who did not know they could do so. I would like to highlight Bohr's use of the word superhuman. There's a clear Nietzsche, or Nietzsche is another philosophy to Lenin's politics. He says, when you're desperate, you can move mountains. We all know this, but we rarely dare. In the writer Bohr, his interpretation, a key part of Lenin's equating of revolution with a miracle, is the tension that he creates between organization and spontaneity. Order versus chaos. Organization versus spontaneity. Good, evil, up, down, left, right, black, white. This is the concept. He says organization and spontaneity are two terms in dialectical opposition and what appears miraculous in their synthesis. You have to understand this. Let me go for this. Is now we talked about Karl Marx and his poem, and he's shaking his fist and saying that he made a deal, struck a deal with Satan. Now we're reading Vladimir Lenin's concept. So ask yourself that question. Why would Klaus Schwab or this guy shows you who he admires? These concepts, these people, whoever these people are, right? The magician or the witchcraft, which was Vladimir Lenin's great grandmother, challenges the order of things dictated by God and nature. Let's keep going. A witch needs certain skills and superpowers that exceed those of ordinary humans in order to grant her own wishes or those of others. This requires the witch to interpret or interrupt the order of things. This requires the witch to transgress the current law. This requires the witch to transgress the law and break through the inertia of what we refer to as normal life. Back to normal. Come on, you gotta follow me. All these concepts that they were saying to us over this entire period. You want to get back to normal life. When me, and I'll even give credit to Yeah Right, when me and people like Yeah Right were telling you guys for months since Black Lives Matter was out there that this was witchcraft, that they were putting a spell on the people. I'm telling you that's true. I'm absolutely telling you that, and anybody can challenge me on that. I'm telling you that is true. So let's continue. And just sit back, relax, drink your tea, and let me grab a sip of mine. I'll entertain you, with this reading, and then just relax. I got you. Just relax. Just relax. Chill, drive, do whatever you do. Walk around, clean up, just listen to me. Just listen to me. It says, as I reread this sentence, this requires the witch to interrupt the order of things, transgress the law, and break through the inertia of so-called normal life. Witchcraft starts at the limit of the possible, where the competence of ordinary people ends. It is forbidden because the very fact of being a witch violates natural and social law, which allocates a place and time to everyone and everything. There are cracks and holes in reality that the witch can plug with their own bodies. Witches are thus alien. They belong in part to another world in which the law does not apply to them. But they also belong intimately to this world, which they try to change or fix. Kind of like climate change agenda. They believe the world is broke. They believe that the air is bad, that your body is not perfect, that things are wrong, and that things need to be fixed. They therefore depend on the laws which they suspend. They suspend those laws or attempt to use magic and witchcraft to suspend those laws. One can even go in, more specifically and say, yeah, maybe the actual laws they write at these local congresses, these senators that write these laws, that these laws could be bundles of witchcraft telling you what you can and can't do. Okay, let me keep going here. Then you start getting into their concepts of this is wow. Then you start getting to their concepts of borders and why they believe in not having borders. This is globalism. They say sorcerers do not only exist at the border, for they do not believe in borders. As anomalous or as analogous beings They are the border themselves. Look at them. Listen to this logic. They do not believe in borders because they are the border themselves. They are the border. So they move and go as they please. They create the border. This is why borderless nations and one world government, this is why their concept, that's why they want these concepts. These concepts they're putting on you are deeper, spiritual, satanic, Luciferian, witchcraft, Babylonian, Babel, Molochian, Atlantean, you know, Sumerian. These are those concepts. This is not nothing new. They believe they are the border in their witchcraft. It says the important thing in their affinity with alliance, with the pack. You know, what I read about Karl Marx, the pact he made with Satan, the pact, which gives them a status. Okay. The relation with their, their witchcraft family is the one of alliance. They call it the one of alliance. You wonder what that one is? I could give you an idea who that one that they all allied with. Now check this out. Oh my goodness. I'll take this quote and I'm reading some powerful stuff and I'll take this quote and we'll read it together. I'll paste it. Here's the quote. As I stop my screen here. Here's the quote. We'll read this. The next sentence says, and I'm going to highlight that quote. The next quote says, the sorcerer has a relation of alliance with the demon as the power of the anomalous. This is their alliance. This is their alliance. Think about it. Think about it. It says, however, the border between two multiplicities is not the only border where witches can be found. Some things I'll skip over because I don't want to speak that out there. It says, locating the witch at this border can help us understand how miracles work or revolutions work. If we consider the real world as a unity of things, the witch will attempt to definitely break up this unity in a freaky way. This is the true war against you and nature and the creator. I remember I Spy was jumping on here and he was talking about the Baba Yaga or the Baba Yaga, however you pronounce it. He's not, let me tell you something. We'll talk about I Spy. We'll say certain things about I Spy. He's not all cracked up like you think. I Spy has some sense. I Spy has a sense. He's not all, doom and gloom and stress and pain and suffering. He's a smart dude. He knows. We just got to tap into that a little bit more and feed into that energy more than that other energy, in my opinion. As I get back on track here, let me see what else I want to read here. Talks, as you guys know, the concepts of witches and how they can, and sorcery. So let's go back. It says, let's return to Vladimir Lenin and his great grandmother, the witch. Let's keep going. Let me see what else I got for you. 1 second. I'm just kind of reading. There's a reason why they call each other comrades. Like when you hear those words that, Russians and socialists and communists say comrade, there's a spiritual magical reason why they use that word. It's not just just what you think. There's deeper meanings behind those words. It says Lenin's magic is the miracles are brought by the collective. But it says the novelty of Lenin's magic is that miracles are brought about by the collective of people rather than individuals. In a material sense, the condition of possibility for Lenin's miracle is collectivism itself. The superpowers of the magician of revolution come from solidarity and comradeship. It says witchcraft transforms and renders impersonal the body of the witch who is otherwise individualized, scrutinized, and punished by the witch hunt. Solidarity and comrades as form of person-to-person attachment also do away with individuality. They are different than friendship and love, where the unique identities of people involved is fundamental. In your solidarity and being a comrade, your identity vanish. Let me read that again. In your solidarity and being considered a comrade, your identity vanishes. Comrades are treated as anonymous and equal, regardless who they are. So the concept of the word comrade means you have no individuality. You have no name. You have no ownership, no private autonomy. When you refer to communism and socialism and fascism, and they refer to these words means they're removing individuality. You do not have a name. You do not have a color. This is what, we start getting into these concepts of injustice and, you know, wokeism, right? Transgenderism, right? LGBTQT, ABCD. Losing your individuality, you losing what the creator has made you, getting rid of the natural order of things, revolting against God, revolting against the creator. I'll take a little pause here. Let me try to get to you guys comments and I'm sorry guys. Sometimes when I go, man, I get lost in this stuff too because it's fascinating. It truly is. You know. Sean said you need mods to delete these damn bots. There's bots in here. Let me check it out. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see them. See a couple of them, man. Yeah. Look like some. You know. They're trying to. They trying to tab and spy and check and see what I'm doing. And they go back and grab the algorithm and see. All right. Let me scroll down and see if you guys got anything for me here. Goblin said. He says, I'm here to learn and communicate. Some days it's hard to follow, but I do my best. Yeah, now, I'm trying to, just like I said, some days, when I drop this knowledge session like this, is like, you just gotta follow me, but I understand what you're going through. Super glad you all here. No place I would rather be. What's up, True J? J True. Unbroken says, why'd you ever read through Miles' poetry? Any opinions? Uh, we could actually revisit that. You know, man, I can get into the Chinese Nagas and there's a ancient society in China. They refer to themselves as the snake people. That this is not make believe. They actually there's books that said that this family, this Chinese family, this royalty family, quote unquote, that it was a family of people who might have been I don't know, reptilian or whatnot, but yeah, Mao was very off, very off his rocker. But he was deep into uh, magic and sorcery, and hence this it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first? The Karl Marx, the Vladimir Lenins, the Mao Zedongs. We could keep going, right? Or as we talk about the they, are we talking about a demon? A demon, a daemon, a demon, whatever you want to call it, that is either here or a race of demons that is here that has indoctrinated through incest, through blood magic, races of men on this earth, or came on this earth, like what I read from the movie Dark City, and they have always tried for 4 ages, for 4 revolutions, industrial revolutions, to bring about Satan's dominion on earth. And this is their 4th attempt. Could that be possible? Children of Moloch, children of Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call the children of the beast, the demon, whatever that demon is. We have to try to figure out if we can identify it. If you really want to go deep, we could we could go there. But yeah, I may bring up some of his poetry. So Unbroken, remind me if we get towards this. I'm gonna see if it aligns up with Karl Marx, and if it lines up with Vladimir Lenin, which I'm sure it does. I'm absolutely sure it does. Ice Wolf says that Goblin Life, keep up the good work, brother. Wise goes eye to stuff that takes a lot, if not years, to research. He can show you the path. Yeah, yeah. I'm still thinking on if I want to drop this for you guys. If not, I'll drop some. Some breadcrumbs, man. And like, look, as I take a little pause here, the reason I do this is not. Um, you just got to be careful with the stuff that you read, with the stuff that you go, the path that you go, the rabbit hole that you fall down, or the rabbit hole that you jump into, and understanding in your search for truth. You won't find truth in this life, because the ultimate truth is in the next life. That is ultimate truth. But how far you go into wanting to know your purpose, and just the understanding of the things around you in this world. If you're not strong in your foundation, you read some of this stuff, it will make you question things, and it could bring you great confusion, stress, disturbances, or can also bring you clarity, peace, understanding, because now you know who you're up against, who your enemies are, quote unquote. And then you understand that this world is much deeper than what they've told you. So when you see and hear these people, and you understand why they're promoting 5G, you understand why the Canadian government has shot radiation frequencies at the protesters, burning people's lips. And go look it up. It's on BitChute. Why? What type of magic? What type of warfare? These megalo evil main. What type of people would do this to other humans? Then you understand who these people are. Where Biden gets up there yesterday and anxious in his old, riddled, decrepit body, anxious to kick off a atomic, nuclear, hydrogen atom war. He's ready to kick off war. What would make these people so megalomaniac? These people are crazy, are psychopaths, are bloodlust. And when you understand who they are, the Jesuits, the Ashkenazis, we go on with these bloodline, whether they're black or white, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color their skin appears. They're hosting you. They're using us as host. They're manipulating the world around you, where you don't even know, do CNN really exist? When you look at CNN, are you really looking at people? Or is it a projected hologram image of these people sitting behind a newscast telling you? It's like the movie They Live. And when you start to bring these documents and these books and these writings, old writings from 19th century, into the conversation, these are coming out of their mouth, not mine. These people, like Karl Marx, is mentioning Satan, changing the natural order of the world. Vladimir Lenin, the same Vladimir Lenin that's on the shelf behind Klaus Schwab, who's telling you that he wants to push a great reset, or a fourth industrial revolution. A revolution against who? A revolution against God, the creator. Now, everybody's God is different, so I got to be careful when I say that word. because the dollar bill says in God we trust. Who's God? And what God? Their God. Their God and your God is not the same, which is why you need to stop saying the word God unless you truly know in your heart what God you're talking about. Because the same God that they worship in their caverns is not the same God that you worship or believe in. The same order and nature that we talk about and conscious and frequency that we talk about is not the same nature and consciousness and frequency that they talking about. The reset that we think, oh, they're going to just reset the financial systems. It's not the same reset you think. They're not just resetting the financial systems. They reset in nature to create a perfect dark city for them because they are a dying species. They are a dying race. They're going to reset your DNA. Let me keep going here. Let me just try to catch up with you guys a little bit. J True says it's the first live stream, but listen for a little while. While now, thank you. Right? Oh, yeah, right. Sent you through. Appreciate it, man. These are just dudes I rock with. We don't like. We not like living in the same house or nothing. It's just different people I rock with. Word get around. People share. Information. People share each other, and that's love. I appreciate that. Thanks, brother. Yeah, right. As always, appreciate you, man. The nods you give. If you're out there and you're speaking to people, and I do the same thing. I'm like telling people like, yo, man, check out this cat. Check out this cat, yo. So I really appreciate that. Let me just kind of catch up. Then I'm gonna get back to my reading. I like what Sean says here. Grand Rising, no morning here, sister. Be careful what and how you speak, for our language and words are spells. Thank you, Sean. And that's why even when I was reading and while I'm reading Karl Marx's or when I read his poem, I purposely broke the stanza because he's writing in riddles, and those riddles is a rhythmic pattern. And I don't know what rhythm. I'm not trying to go deep, but his rhythmic pattern could do things to you. So I had to stop and break his rhythmic pattern. So I would purposely mispronunciate words. I would purposely skip a sentence. I would purposely do that just to not say it in the correct form because I don't know what demonic energy he put over his poem, which is, maybe that's what Black Lives Matter chant every damn day before they go and burn something stuff down. Who knows? I just don't want that to affect me or my home. You feel me? So good point there, guys. Good point there, Sean. Ice Wolf says try resetting human beings and the planet, everything. So what we think is reset and what he's saying, we see what I'm trying to show you guys is that all these years you thought the word like when they always use that word revolution, right? Or when they use that word comrade in their communist, socialist, Marxist language, that these are black magic concepts. These are not, you thought these were political concepts. That's what they want you to think. Capitalism and socialism and, no, dude, this is a spiritual war. These people are coming up with terms that equates from a spiritual witchcraft perspective, not a political, basic perspective like you always thought. And I'm reading these things to you to show you, like, you thought that word, he using that word industrial revolution has been, oh, they just want to just, revolt like, kind of like 1776. Nah, man. This revolution is talking is a he called it a miracle word, a miracle word. They've put hexes and energy on the words. When they say revolution, they're put spirit and energy behind those words. They call them miracles. So good stuff there. Yeah, right. Went on to say, we live in a house of consciousness. Wise, well, I wouldn't say a house of consciousness. I mean, well, in a sense, our bodies are houses of consciousness. If you want to look at it like that, the revolution is their end game. I caught up now with you guys, so I appreciate it. You guys giving me the chance to take a break here. Man, what a Saturday. I mean, this is an information packed Saturday. So please, if you need to come back and rewind the live stream, go ahead. But just try to listen to my words. I'm not going to show the words. And you know, for those who know, they'll find it. So let me continue. Get back on track here. All right, let me see. Where was I? All right. Let's see. All right. It says Lenin and other so-called professional revolutionaries always worked in a underground setting. This underground setting was called the conspiracia. Conspiracia. Isn't that funny? Conspiracy. So it was called the conspiracia. According to this guy named Lars Lee, in Lenin's historical context, conspiracia referred to the set of rules by which you do not get yourself arrested by the police, or the fine art of not getting arrested. They actually had a they actually had a art, they call it, the fine art of not getting arrested, and the set of rules by which you do not get yourself arrested by the police. This conspiratia or conspiracia created by Lenin is about getting knowledge and ideas out of many people as possible. This is interesting stuff, man. It says, although a strike might not be secret to anybody in the town where it happens, this is Lenin's quote, people across the country might not know about it. So our task is to get that word out and let everybody know about it. But in order to do what we need people organizing professionally in underground conditions in order to get the report, write it up, and send it off to Geneva where the paper is printed, and then smuggle it back to Russia for distributing. This stuff that I'm reading to you guys is a Russian based black magic sorcery type document. Sometimes people forget that Lenin was the underground nickname of a person actually named Vladimir Ulyanov. Bolsheviks live fake social lives under fake names, constantly changing their passports, families. They always change their appearances. And you want to hear one that knocks you out right here? Here, I'll show you. I'll show you. You really want to talk about the world we live in? I'm going to copy and paste this for you guys right now. Read this quote as I get rid of this bot. Read this quote, and I'll share it. I'll let y'all read this one. You talk about read that. Bolsheviks and conspiracia live fake social lives under fake names, constantly changing their passports, families, appearances, and even genders. And what do you got going on today? What do you see, right? What do you see going on? You think this is all just coincidence? It's LGBTQ, LMNOP, all this stuff. Joe Biden, you know, bringing transgender people into the military and into defense, Department of Justice, and DOD. What are you watching is them slowly bringing this kingdom, this industrial revolution, this reset, the satanic agenda on earth, disrupting the natural order, disrupting nature. Everything is backwards with them. It says what connected them was that they were all comrades. In her theory of comrade, Jody Dean, this is another reference. Jody Dean suggests four, that's your four, Four theses that articulate a generic political component activated through divisive fidelity to the emancipatory egalitarian struggle for communism. I'll give you your four, as in your fourth industrial revolution and your other fours. Here's your four concepts, folks. Concept number one: a comrade names a relation characterized by sameness, equality, and solidarity. For communism or communists, this sameness, equality, and solidarity is utopian, cutting through the determinations of capitalists. Number two, anyone but not everyone can be a comrade. The individual as a locus of identity is the other of the comrade. Number four says the relation between comrades is mediated by fidelity to the truth, whatever truth that is. Truth that they are allied, as I read before, allied to the demon. Allied to the demon. That's the truth. The one world government, the one world order. This is that truth. Not the same truth that you think. It's the truth that they think. It says, let's see. As I keep going here. It goes into this, it goes more into this concept of comrade and why they call themselves comrades. And it talks about here, it says comradeship in the sense that I'm trying to develop transgresses the rule. It breaks the identity ideology. It is destructive of individual. It destroys the autonomous person. Right here in this quote. I can't make this stuff up. Comradeship in the sense that I am trying to develop here transgresses this rule. It breaks with identity ideology. It is destructive of the individual. So you wonder why they want you to walk around with a QR code, why they're trying to whether chip or put this stuff in you. It is to remove your identity, to completely remove anything about you that makes you unique, that gives you that individuality. This is the kingdom of Satan overthrowing the rule of nature, the law. They want to transgress the law. Do what thou wilt is the law. They want to transgress that law and do what thou will, using the power of witchcraft. Unbelievable. Here's another quote from he says the theater like the plague is a crisis. This is that they're talking about the world, man. This is crazy. The theater like the plague is a crisis which is resolved by death or cure. And the plague is a superior disease because it is a total crisis, after which nothing remains except death or an extreme purification. Similarly, the theater is a disease because it is the supreme equilibrium which cannot be achieved without destruction. It invites the mind to share a delirium. Listen to that. It invites the mind to share a delirium which exalts its energies. And we can see, to conclude, that from the human point of view, they don't even talk to us like they don't even speak from a us point of view. They speak from a third person point of view. It says, we can see to conclude that from the human point of view, the action of theater, like that of the plague, is beneficial. For impelling men to see themselves as they are, it causes the mask to fall, reveal the lie, the slackness, the baseless hypocrisy of our world. It shakes off the exfoliating inertia of matter, which invades even the clearest testimony of our senses. And in revealing the collectiveness of men, their dark power, their hidden force. It invites them to take, in the face of destiny, a superior and heroic attitude they would never have assumed without this. And the question we must now ask is whether, in the slippery world, which is committing suicide without noticing it, there can be found a nucleus of men capable of imposing this superior notion of theater, where there is a group of men who will restore to all of us the natural and magic equivalent of dogmas which we no longer believed. Unbelievable. A comrade transcends the borders of the human, placing it in the same category as sorcery, with its secret alliances, communications with beasts, and of course, breathtaking naked night flights. What? Wow. Look at that quote. Unbelievable. Comradeship transcends the borders of this humanism, placing it in the same category as sorcery, with its secret alliances, communication with beasts, and of course, breathtaking naked night flights. Just a thesis about witchcraft. Comradeship is not an easy thing, along with sorcery. It can invoke forces that an individual cannot control. These forces can be destructive. As Gold's story of a sorcerer apprentice in 1797, who, when his old master leaves, initiate a powerful magical process that he cannot stop. These people, I'm talking about socialism and communism is magic. You know, Sabrina, whatever now, Abramovich, all these people talk about spirits, ghosts, vampires, right? Well, Lenin's great grandmother was deep into this, and there's no doubt that that she taught him. You know, so just it's a lot of other stuff I don't want to get into here because this stuff is just crazy. But when you go back and when you go back and you look at people like, and you guys can find, like I said, you seek, you'll find. You go back and you look at somebody like, him, right? And you read some of his quotes about, quote unquote, you know, God or whatnot. It really open your minds about who they, really are, right? And then you start looking at him, right? You have all these articles about here about, like this one here, for example. Let's read this one. Fascism and some lessons of the 20th century. It's a good video where he pretty much takes what I'm saying and he shows you how these people and this concept and these concepts that you hear people like Barack Obama mentioning, Hillary Clinton, Biden, and all this Black Lives Matter, and all these Senate and congressional people mentioning, the socialism and this stuff is deeply embedded in black magic and witchcraft. Black magic and witchcraft, no doubt. Right. I mean, this stuff is mind blowing. So why would Klaus Schwab, right, show you that he support and admires Vladimir Lenin? I mean, you got a graven statue of the guy. you know. So there's just like I said, just search it out. Like you got to be careful with this stuff, man. When you start getting into black magic and witchcraft, and so let's take a step back, right? Let's read let's read what we read again, right? We talked about Dark City, right? We brought about that concept. It says the strangers. Here, I'll share this. Let's read this here. Let you guys read it together. Now think about everything that we talked about. Let's think about it, and then we'll take a step back and we'll kind of open it up for general discussions. But let's just read this, right? The strangers, right? Right. The strangers are the main antagonists of the 1998 film Dark City. They are an alien species of which possess incredible powers and unimaginable advanced technology. Although they are nonetheless a dying race with their hive mind society, unable to adapt or withstand their uncommon extinction. However, having observed the individuality of human beings, they believe that the solution to their plight lies somewhere in the human psyche. They have arranged a grand experiment to delve into the forces behind human personality and memory. Experimenting at length on the humans they have been able to abduct in an attempt to find some insight that will be able to save their race. As such, they spend much of the film orchestrating events from behind the scene, only revealing themselves when they have no choice but to intervene directly. So society has transgressed it so much and left these people behind that every so many eons and every so many centuries, they have to now come with a great reset, or they have to promote an industrial revolution. Their industrial revolution is not a progressive, in the form, the word progress, is not progressing humanity forward. Their industrial revolution at its core is actually slowing you down, pulling you back, keeping you from moving and leaving them behind, resetting the conditions back on this earth that suits their survival, or more deeply, creating a situation where it gives them more greater opportunity to live, to survive. So it makes one only wonder about this whole entire pandemic, and what did they truly do to people who chose? We see all these cops right now in Canada, as we kind of move on a little bit here. I want you to think about something. I told you guys what they wanted to do was to purge out your police, your doctors, your politicians, everything in society, so they can see who are those loyal to the one alliance. Globalism is loyalty to the one alliance. I just read to you guys what the one alliance is. The one alliance, even in this doctrine that I read, didn't specifically tell you who the one alliance is. They just told you that the one alliance was the demon. They used the word the demon. So when you think about all these people like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci and those who are supporting this communist, Marxist, socialist agenda, the people who have created, the founders of this, are hardcore satanic Luciferian witchcraft and sorcery going back to Babylon, Sumerian. They believe in this one alliance with the demon. So the people who remain after they have fired and laid off people who have refused to allow their bodies to be defiled, or who do not choose to become a communist collectivist comrade, but continue to promote freedom, liberty, and individuality, the ones who remain in these systems, the ones who remain as cops, are now considered true, hardened loyalists for the fourth revolution. Satan's fourth revolution. So when you see the cops bashing the Canadian people in the head, using horses to trample over old women, Justin Trudeau becoming a outright tyrant, seizing people's property, they are in the process of removing the individual and bringing in and pulling from you the collective comrade. That when you remember the things that I've talked about over the course of my live stream, we talked about Fritz Lang of Metropolis and how the movie Metropolis talked about a lot of different things, including the Machine Man with the inverted pentagon gram in the background. But it talked about the group of slaves, workers. They try to tell you that it was about capitalism, but in reality, those slaves was walking into the mouth of Moloch. It is actually called Moloch, believe it or not, in the movie. It's actually called Moloch in the movie. Here's some clips of it. And they were dragging by the neck these no longer individual humans through the mouth of Moloch into the fire. The creators of Nosferatu were hardcore communists, and Eugene Grosh and the Brotherhood of Saturn, most of the writers and directors were part of the communist, socialist, Marxist family tree and was a part of the Brotherhood of Saturn, orchestrated this movie. Most of Hollywood is also backed by these same societies. As I kind of flip back, dragging humans up the stairs in the mouth by their necks and dragging them up the steps. And let's see what this is. Here's another one. It's like the American public, right? Has nothing to do about the war between capitalism and socialism. No, these people are destroying individuality. So these cops, doctors that have stayed behind, that did not quit, that complied with the illegal edicts, they're gone. Expecting any peace, any acceptance, any love out of these people, those people, is far gone. This is why you see such egregious behaviors being depicted in Canada. And it will happen here. When every cop that you see today that has still driving around with a badge after all that has been done to humanity, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it first. They are not your friend. Any cop that still get a paycheck after the governments have done what they've done and will do to their people and continue to drive around in their squad cars are not your friends. They have showed you who they're aligned with, and they are aligned with the fourth industrial Luciferian revolution. The fourth industrial comrade revolution. And now you understand what the word comrade and what the word revolution and what their concepts are. And once you have this information, and once you know this information, you can't go back. How many times would it take them to finally get it right? It's called the fourth revolution because they failed the last 3 times. Their satanic kingdom will not be brought on earth, because we will do whatever we can do to rise and defend against it. And we all should. Absolutism, all the good ones are gone. Their army has been built. Their Jesuit, satanic, Luciferian army is ready to be deployed worldwide. And they all will take away their individual uniforms. They all will take away their individual department badges, and they will all will wear one uniform, under one badge, under one boot, under one alliance. And that alliance, as we read earlier today, is to the demon. That's what their own books, that's only what their own doctrines tell you. So why do you think Justin Trudeau is mocking America right now? Americans, they need to be worried too that their bank accounts don't get seized. He's telling you that they're getting rid of the borders. In witchcraft and sorcery, they are the border. In their witchcraft demonic mindset, they are the border. Everywhere Trudeau is the border. This is what they're warning you. There will be no more local cops in your neighborhood. There will be no more local hospital that you go to. They have their way. It will be one alliance. Your doctors will have no name. Your cop who bashes you in the head with a billy club and shoot you in the head because you don't, because you didn't comply, will not have a name. He will be nameless. She will be nameless. She will be faceless. The people who will try to enslave and murder you, the politicians that will try to enslave and murder you, they will not have a name. Names will be removed. Identities will be removed. Individuality will be removed. You will be a comrade. These people, Trudeau is a comrade. Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Anthony Fauci, Biden, Kamala Harris, many different puppets I can name. They're comrades. Why haven't the American government demonized what happened in Canada? Because it's coming here. Exactly, J. True. They are faceless. They are nameless. They are individual identity lists. They can kill you with full indemnity. Somewhat like these pharmaceutical companies. Completely exonerated from anything that they do against you. What did Justin Trudeau do? He told the banks that when the bank sees the Canadians' money, that they don't have to worry about anything because they're completely exonerated from any lawsuits. That murder will become legal if Big Brother tells them that it's okay. That because you don't agree with the system, that you don't agree with a satanic revolution, their fourth communist satanic ideology, that they would decree you a enemy of the state. When Black Lives Matter was unleashed, which is Marxist, when they want, listen to me very well on this, when they were unleashed into the world, in the beginning stages of this satanic takeover, Black Lives Matter was used to identify the resistance. Black Lives Matter and Antifa was used to identify the resistance against their satanic system. So Black Lives Matter did not protest in inner cities. They did not burn down homes on the south side of Chicago. They did not burn down liquor stores and crack houses in Detroit. What they did was bust and was provided vehicles to travel to cities around this country to identify areas of resistance. Patriots, liberty-loving people, people who stood for individuality, people who stood for private property, your autonomy. And they went to those communities and they shut those communities down. And when they shut those communities down and cut off those resources, like your grocery stores, like your expressways, blocked off your streets, they funneled you. And they wanted to see what you would do. And how long would it take to them to force you out your home, to force you to be upset, to identify and expose who you are? In other words, we all got doxxed. It was a big game. They played a multi-leveled chess game, and we all on YouTube, we all in our own lives, we all in our own communities was doxxed by the satanic Luciferian Jesuit army. They now know what communities will resist, what people, what YouTubers, what doctors, what police, what workers, what child care providers, what people will resist against them when they roll out their nefarious plan, which is happening as I speak. Your house, no different than the ancient biblical days, was marked on the door with an X while we slept. Let's keep it real, every white community with a flag hanging out their front door, every black community that support freedom and liberty has been marked. Every Asian community, every Latino community that supports individuality, freedom, autonomy, and do not support their genderless, raceless, individualityless system is set and termed for extermination. I don't know how clear to make it. And that information was given directly to your local law enforcement by Antifa, by Black Lives Matter, which is the reason why the police always and have done over the course of their rioting, let them out of jail, because it was a job well done. And from the information I read to you today, what did it say about the communist comrade? The art of what? Not getting arrested. That is in their doctrine. It is through witchcraft, through demonic energy, that they do what they do and get away with it and have success. Exactly, Rosin. Put the X. You can't see it. It might glow. I'm just acting kind of silly here, but it might glow at night. I know I'm making jokes, but trust me when I tell you this, they know. They now know. Look what happened in Canada. They doxed all the people that were supporting the convoy, whether, right or wrong or whatnot. The convoy was meant, I know me and Yeah Right kind of, touched on this a little bit. The convoy was meant to draw you out. The insurrection, or whatever they want to call it, these are magical, as they say. The communist comrade and socialist and Marxist, the magical, revolution, the magical word insurrection. The word insurrection is inspiring Trudeau. The word insurrection that the government in the United States has conjured through their magic, conjured through their sorcery in Washington, D.C., which is nothing but a huge inverted pentagon or pentagram, through their energy from Saturn and their worship of Saturn or Satan. They conjured up a word into existence called insurrection, and they use that word. Now that word is going to spread like wildfire against every person who supports freedom and liberty. And Justin Trudeau just showed you that. They are spitting demons and conjuring demons in their bowl of cauldron every night, looking for ways to destroy you. And the fourth revolution, or the fourth industrial revolution, was the trumpet, was the bullhorn blown worldwide to tell these comrade demons that now it's time. The fourth industrial revolution is merely a bullhorn to kick off the Hunger Games. Now, who is Klaus Schwab, and what is his connection to these deep, dark Satanists to have such authority to declare over the world such a statement? Could one say that Klaus Schwab could be merely a witch? Could Klaus Schwab be a witch? Could Klaus Schwab be a sorcerer? Could Klaus Schwab be a stranger that stayed in the back scenes, behind the scenes for so many decades, that every so many centuries, when they find that their grasp on society is slipping, it takes one of these satanic elders to rise from the catacombs of the bottomless pit to now let the puppets know to get your butts in order. And now the time is here for Satan to try to hatch his dominion on earth once again. Give it another shot. Let's see if we're successful this time. Could he be? Bigger than the Pope? Perhaps on the Jesuit level? Could he be that dude? As they say, could he be that dude? I'm here to say absolutely. This little image here. I'm here to say absolutely. He could be that dude. If you clearly watch his expressions, and the more you click on him, the more you you see his connections to Vladimir Lenin. Was he a pupil of Vladimir Lenin? And look at the outfit he's wearing. Not to be petty, but a priest, a demon, a sorcerer, a high priest, Rosin. Exactly. The Trump movement, the Q, was dox. Identify and destroy. Search was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Search and destroy. Why do you think when the pandemic happened, Antifa and Black Lives Matter was nowhere to be found? But they took a vacation because it gave them exactly what communities they needed to mark, what communities they needed to roll out their their human saving vaccines. Now you see what it's all about when you now step back from the sub psyops and you look at the bigger psyop. Now we could focus on the sub psyops of the vaccines and the wars and this and that, but then when you get to the big psyop, you say, "Wow, this is about destroying individuality. This is about destroying nature. They want to get rid of the trees. They hate water, from what we read from the movie. If you want to, link that in, they want to poison your water. They want to defile your air. They want to defile your body, which is made of water, which is an element of air, life. They don't like the fact that the world is made in its image. Whose image? What image are you made in? Its image, the source. Oh, you made in the image of the source. Well, we hate the source. So we're going to recreate you. And if we can't recreate you, we will go to war with you. We will revolt. We will have a revolution against you, which is what each and every one of us is seeing. Which is what each and every one of us seeing. So this industrial revolution is no feat of ingenuity. We've had Wi-Fi around for years. We've had technology around for decades. We've had computers around living with us for decades. This is no feat of ingenuity. But what it is a spiritual revolution that they're casting upon the world. I agree, Stephanie. They will never let you rise that high until you meet that demon. This is why we, us common folk, would never have that, never are, or never will be that successful. And it's not meant for us to rise that far up the rank. And if you are tested enough to rise so far up that rank, I hope you refuse. And if you do refuse, you will be thrown away from their midst, which is perfectly fine for me. This is the Jeffrey Epsteins, right? I don't want to be a part of that club, that bloodline, that family. So the question now becomes, well, who, when we hear the word and people in these forums, you always say, this is what they want. Is they the Jew? Is they the Scandinavian, the African, the Chinese, the Mexican, the American, the Canadian, the Ukrainian, the Russian, the Iranian, who are the they? There is no other ism. There is no other ism that has openly facilitated the incantations of black magic and sorcery. There is no other ism on this earth through the history of man that has facilitated the practice and openly facilitated the practice of demonology and sorcery. And then let me grab my typewriter and shift over again. There is no other ism that has facilitated the openly acceptance of the destruction of the creator, of God, or what we refer to as God, us good people here. There has been no other ism that has facilitated the opening, the outright open support of debauchery, murder, disease, pestilence, all types of manner of 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 foulness in the human spirit than the ism of Marxism, communism, and socialism. Every Hollywood perversion, every evil incantation, every secret society, whether it's the Fabians or, as you guys mentioned, or the Jesuit societies, or the, we can go on, the Knights of Malta, we can keep going with these societies. They all use the vehicle of Marxist, communist, socialist, Stalinist, Schwabist, Leninist philosophy. And I'm not saying capitalism is an angel. I'm not saying that. because that, we know corporatism and capitalism, that's a beast within itself too. They all connected eventually, but the more higher you get to that top of that pyramid, I don't care if you communist or capitalist. Once you get to the top of the pyramid that funnels, it all becomes socialist, communist, and Marxism. That all funnels back to collectivism. And collectivism goes back to the story of the Tower of Babel. That saying, trying to bring about this worldwide unity, this worldwide race, this one gender, one society, one climate, one accord, one alliance, one this, is actually against the inherent principles of motion, of growth. It's not growth. You're condensing. That's death. The New World Order and the one world government and globalization is the concept of death, because it is condensing of minds, condensing of the spirit, condensing of the soul, condensing of freedom, condensing of liberty, condensing of the individual into one centralized thought, one centralized mind, hence the hive mind, one centralized spiritual energy force. And that's not how it works, folks. And we know it. Us who study true consciousness, that it is infinite and infinite possibilities and infinite growth and infinite vibration and infinite motion. The universe is steady. As I get ready to wind down, the universe is steady, spitting out new things every day, new thoughts, new ideas, new ways to express, new races, new colors, new eyes, new ears, new babies, new palms, new zodiacs, new the world is filled of unique expressions of the source. And they don't like it. Hence, they censor. They don't like the fact that I'm not talking and speaking and agree with them. So they kill that and destroy it. They do not like the fact that there is a man and a woman. So they want to destroy the man and destroy the woman. They don't like the fact that there is a family and the family has dynamics, right? We call it your family dynamics. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that there is a white race, a black race, a Asian race, a Latino race. They don't like that. They don't want you to be happy that you are white, that you are black, that you are brown, that you are yellow or whatever. They don't like that. Each and every individual created uniquely in the likeness of the source, is an expression of the source, equally connected, but individually different. They hate it. The fourth industrial revolution of Charles Schwab, in principle, is a satanic principle at its core. It's so fundamentary that the guy has the statue of Vladimir Lenin in his video. How obvious can it get? Practicing, Rosin and others out there, being an individual, being uniquely connected to the source and to all things, but operating independently, uniquely. And that's the beauty. It's showing that you can be so different from a tree in physical appearance, but yet respect the tree, because the tree provide things that you can't. And you provide things to the tree that others can't, or that a fish couldn't, or a bird can't. But a bird provides things to the tree that it can't. You ever know the concept behind a woodpecker? I used to think a woodpecker was just a bird who just, peck holes in a tree and was just really just a, destructive woodpecker. But that woodpecker that pecks that hole in the tree, there's a purpose, obviously for shelter. But that woodpecker hole in the tree, sadly enough, right, right, then turn around and get used by other species like ants. They use that hole and then they, or bees that put, so everything has a purpose. You cut your grass like me, right? In the summertime, I go out there and I cut grass. Excuse me, and I keep the leaves. I mean, the grass and turn it into mulch, and then take the grass clippings, throw it back on the grass, and that nitrogen keeps the grass healthy without watering the grass because there's water already in it. Everything using itself uniquely, but connected. These people want to get rid of that connection. Talk about the chess game, right? The true fight is over you. Tug of war. Why did the source get the opportunity to create you in this image, and why not Satan? That's what they think. What makes God so special? The universe created so special that He gets to create all these things in His image. And who's to say that His image is good? Who's to say? Man and woman create babies. Who's to say? Why do man and a woman have to create a baby? I don't agree with that. Why? This is their logic. Why can't a man have a baby? Why can't a woman go to the military? Why can't a woman do what a man do? Why can't a man cut his genitals off and have parts like a woman? This is the concept of the Baphomet, which is Aleister Crowley. Why can't I have sex with man and women? Why can't I have sex with man, women, and a goat? Why can't I have sex and be androgynous and have sex with everything? If I want to stick my penis inside of a tree, why can't I have sex with? Why do I have to be relegated to have sex with only a woman or a man? Because this is what God said. They don't like it. They want to do away with it. Do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. That's this law of nature, this law of the universe, whatever that is, and that's something that resides with the source. I couldn't begin to describe the law of the nature, but this law that they are a part of, they want to overthrow it. Why should we drink water? So we give you Sprite and Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke, and we flood the market with all this. Why drink water pure from a river or a creek? We'll sell you the water that we want you to drink from a store for $1.99. This is what we want you. This is the water we're going to give you, and we're going to call it purified water because, according to us, it is purified compared to what you can drink out of a creek or a stream and purify yourself. We're going to tell you what food you should eat. We're going to raise up the prices of natural vegetables and natural fruit, and we're going to sell you burgers every day that could be human meat. We're going to tell you what you should eat. We're going to throw chemtrails in the sky. We're going to tell you when you can see the sun, when you can feel the energy of the sun, when you can have a sunny day, when you can have a hot day, when you can have a warm day or cold day. We're going to dictate the temperature. We don't like the fact that the temperature changes, that seasons, that flowers bloom. They didn't confuse the trees. They didn't confuse nature. We don't want you to know or to see the organic changing of the Mother Earth or the universe each and every day. So we give you cloudy days where you can't see the universe and the heavens above. And we talked about this in the last live stream. We'll throw chemtrails in the sky. So days where you should be experiencing great weather and energy, and your kids want to go out, and you just feel like you need to go out and do something because the sun is bright and life is vibrant, and all of a sudden a storm come out of nowhere, like what happened to our brothers and sisters in Kentucky. They're creating a dark city, a world perfectly for them, an environment suitable for them, not for you. They don't want your body to grow, for you to take on new ideas, for you to experience new levels of health. Your body fight off old diseases that once was a problem in humanity. Your body now, after all these centuries, have finally found out through DNA, through your RNA, through your white blood cells, how to defeat it. They don't want your body changing and growing and expanding. So they make you sick again. They make you worse. So now your body's regressing, not progressing. You're more sick than you was 2 years ago than you are now, and they blame it on the boogeyman. When in reality, they're destroying you because you're growing. Just like they destroy your speech when you protest against them and you speak out against them. Where the Canadian government shows up with AR-15s against peaceful protesters, but yet allows Satan's demons to burn your shit down. That is the fourth industrial revolution. It's not some marvel, some great genius, perfect idea. Like, these people are noble. These people are filthy. They're filth. Especially him. Filth. It's not projecting a great reset that's going to be growth. This great reset is decadence. This great reset is death and destruction, tearing down. Think about it. And everything that we talked about today. So now the next time somebody asks you, well, who are they? Now you know who they is. Now, what do you want to call them? Demons? Children of the devil? Children of Satan? The offspring of Lucifer? The indoctrinated of Satan? The indoctrinated of the fallen elves? Fallen Elohims? And from that family of fallen demons, they brought forth the Jew, the Ashkenazi. In some cases, the whites that you see today, the blacks that you see today, the rich, the oligarchs, the aristocrats, the psychopaths. We can start at any level of these sub-psyops, but make sure you understand the top, the very top of that pyramid. That top of the pyramid don't start with the Jew. Whatever this demon is, birthed the Jew. And from the Jew created the bankers and all these other systems. Just streams, just money. They just value streams. That's all it is, babe. Just different streams of income, different streams of methods. Banking systems, political systems, religion systems, all these isms. Karl Marx, same demon, same priest, just not working at the Vatican. He's working in your World Economic Forum. Him and the Pope probably sit back and have a beer together and rape a girl, a young girl, while eating the flesh of a human. All the same. They're all one alliance. Klaus Schwab is not Klaus Schwab. He's a comrade. He has no name. This name that you see is not even his name. It's like you're ready to wind down. Follow me on this. A comrade has no name. These satanic demons are nameless, faceless, voidless, have nothing. He has no name. Are you even sure his name is Klaus Schwab? Who is he? And what is he? Do you know? Does he even exist in this realm, in this reality, in this frequency? How do you know this dude ain't being zapped in a damn hologram or a damn AI or some damn demonic spirit in the form of a human, using a human corpse to disguise himself? Who knows? Are you sure of anything? Let alone say this about him. Could you say the same thing about the 13 families that run these 13 political systems, from agriculture all the way up to technology? There's a bloodline family, a bloodline demon ruling every one of these things that controls the society. Every stream and faucet of society is being ran by an archdemon. That's being ran by an archdemon. Is he an archdemon? How do you know? Was Vladimir Lenin and Karl Marx archdemons? Hitler and all these megalomaniac Mao Zedong? How do we know? These are the things you got to question. And I'm gonna go back to my girl. She made a question up top about Mao Zedong. So let's go and let's stop and let's do this as I get ready to wind down. I know I'm going and I really gotta shut it down. But you have Mao Zedong poetry. He has poems. Here's a couple of them. I can't read them. Let me see if they're translated. They're in Chinese, but let's see. Here's one. Changsha. Alone I stand in the autumn cold on the tip of an orange island. And who knows what he's talking about, but I'm not going to read it all. But under freezing skies, a million creatures contend in freedom, brooding over this immensely. I ask on this boundless land, who rules over man's destiny? I was here with a throng of compassions, vivid yet those crowded months and years. Young we were, schoolmates. Let me see what else he got. Or is this Mao? This might be some interpretations of some of the poems he have. Let me just see what this say. Yellow Crane Tower. Talking about the tortoise and the snake hold the great river locked. The yellow crane is gone, who knows whither. Over this tower remains a haunt for visitors. I pledge my wine to the surging torrent. These people are not these communist people. They're corrupted. Matter of fact, that's the name. The Huang dynasty. They say was the snake people. They call them the snake people in China. I think that was the name, Huang or Huang. You know. So there's poetry out there of him too. But just understand this basic conversation and discussion of who is they or who are they. And now, I kind of, as I now you go back to your regularly scheduled program. But now that you know the they and what the they is at the very, very top, nothing higher than that top. Everything that I described today, there's nothing higher than that. There's no psyop bigger than that. Everything you talk about and everything you hear on these different channels, whether gematria or what, there's nothing higher than that. There's nothing higher than a demon and their alliance and their allegiance. I don't care whether it's Nazis and their fake Aryan race that they stole from India. I don't care if it's blacks and their self-righteous black man is God false logic. I don't care if it's the white Nordic race and their false logical, and regardless of all these different people who try to sway you into different philosophies, excuse me, they all stem from one centralized logic and one centralized alliance. And those people have been pushed out into society by their satanic overlords to control different races of people, different groups, different factions, different political systems, different countries, different geographical regions, like a witch, like a witchcraft sorcerer. They have been designed to control your different currencies, your different school systems, your different religious systems, your different books, your different platforms, whether your YouTubes or your Facebooks. They all control this. And they all, even though they may act like they your coolest black brother, they may act like they your coolest white bro, they may act like they yo hail Hitler, Nazi, white supremacy, black supremacy, cool, it does not matter, folks. They may act like they yo, La Raza, Latino, La Raza, blood. It doesn't matter. It all will centralize and collide and form and be broken down and merged with the communist one world agenda. And that will be called a miracle. Because everybody will wonder, how did they get black people and white people and Asian people and birds and fishes and trees and everything to come together? Come together. Was it COVID that brought everything together? Oh, everybody's come together. Everything come together. And get rid of your name. Get rid of your identity. Get rid of your individuality. Get rid of what makes you unique. You know what makes you unique? Your skin color, your eyes, your ears, your thoughts, your voice, your sound, your palms, your zodiac. All those things make you unique. Get rid of it. So once you understand that, you can choose to focus on the sub psyops. We can talk about Ukraine and how Ukraine will be cast away once they're used. What a fool of a government, or what a fool of a people the Ukrainians will be when they sold their soul to this beast. And you think for a second that you'll be able to break bread with this beast? Ukraine will forever be the greatest. Ukraine will be the greatest psyop nation on the world. Ukraine will be declared, and I'm going to declare Ukraine today, the greatest false flag nation that the world will ever see. More worse than Iran, more worse than Iraq, and more worse than Libya. Ukraine will be used for false flag off after false flag after false flag off the false flag until the globalists get what they want. And these idiots voluntarily sold their soul for what? Oil? For a pipeline? For a river? For electricity? For energy? As I close out and we talk about these ancient civilizations that are no longer with us, it makes one wonder that when they realized that they couldn't achieve their revolutions, their first industrial revolution, their second industrial revolution, their third industrial revolution, and now here we are doing the fourth industrial, that when these psychopathic demons realized they wasn't going to win, did they shoot something into the atmosphere? Did they run into their caverns while the rest of the populations died off? Did they purposely, kamikaze like, suicidal like, destroy every man, woman, and child when they didn't get their way? You want to know the beginning of the greatest psyop on earth, which was the usurp of the human race? I just explained that to you. If you want to understand the end game of the greatest psyop on earth that has happened through the ancient Egyptians to ancient cultures, from ancient Latino cultures to ancient white cultures to ancient black cultures and ancient Asian cultures, is the destruction of billions of destroying the entire population when these demons realized that they were losing and that they cannot win. In our lives, we should be preparing for that particular outcome to be played out. That Joe Biden as a megalomaniac could be used to facilitate the end game switch when they realize their agenda is falling apart. That Black Lives Matter will be the final push, and Antifa and these psychopathic cops will be the final push to total enslavement now that they got your houses marked. And that if they can't succeed in this, their final straw will be to destroy entire geographical regions in the name of their Satan and their demon. Now, if you want to focus on the middle psyops, the middle sub psyops, that's fine. But there's no reason now you can't describe or explain to somebody who they are. That when you see Black Lives Matter walking down your street and they act like communists and Marxism is so great because they care about equality and injustice, now you know that's a lie. Their injustice is not against white people. Their injustice is not against the system. And I'm a black person, and I'm telling you just now, right now, the facts. Their injustices are not against the system, against the white devil, quote unquote, as this black supremacy stuff they always say. Their injustice is against God, against the Creator. Because how can you hate a white man, but the white man is the same doctrine that you promoting as you out there burning shit down? It's a joke. Has nothing to do with what you think it does. They don't hate the white race. They don't hate the white race because they love the white race and the doctrines that they're promoting. They hate individuality, and they hate the people and the children who believe in the true source. And once you understand that, this is why like I'm so calm and peaceful in my life. I already see it. Like I already knew this stuff since I was 13. So when I see it, I'm like, dude, that stuff doesn't affect me. When you understand this core principle of the they, there's nothing they can do. There's no psyop they can play. There's no new group they can, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Boule, the Moors, the House of Consciousness. None of that stuff can, talking about black supremacy. None of that stuff can play and mislead black people because you know the truth. Same thing with white people, the Aryan race, the white Nazis, the Scandinavians, the Nordics, the Vikings, and all this, pantheon from Greeks and Rome. And you understand what Rome is and the capital lying hill of Rome and the Tower of Babel and Brotherhood of Saturn and communism and Karl Marx. He's like, wait a minute, they all the same. It's all the same. There was an archdemon placed upon every race, every culture, every society, every group, every ism, every system, every technology, every system that we see today. There is a bloodline archdemon controlling that system. At the behest of your Jesuit, at the behest of your popes, at the behest of your Ashkenazis, at the behest of your Rothschilds, at the behest of your Mansa Musa, at the behest of your pharaohs in Egypt, your pharaohs in Kush, your kings and your bloodlines from Rome and England and Spain and France, all the way to the very, very top of the bloodline of Vlad Dracul, the bloodline of Nimrod, the bloodline of Xerxes and Persia's and Turkey and the witches of the Media and Medici and the bloodline of King James, and you keep going all the way up to the top of the bloodline of Charlemagne and the Christian conquistadors and the Dark Ages and the society of the Gauls and the barbarians. Then you go into ancient Asia and the bloodlines of the Li dynasty and the ancient Chinese dynasties. You go all the way up to the top. It's the great demon. And that's the name you need to know what it is. Whether you call that demon Bartzabel, whether you call that demon Azazel, whatever you call it, you need to know what that demon is. Or is it Satan? Or is it Lucifer? Or is it the new demon that took over Satan and Lucifer? What is it? What is this demon these people are summoning to give them this position for over 4 ages? They've controlled Earth. Who are they? They are the offspring of that. The Jew comes second or third. The black, white comes second or third. The Jesuit comes second and third. Study the pyramid from the top down instead of from the down up. Who's at the top of the pyramid? Exactly, Ryan. Over 80,000 years, maybe longer. Humanity's been under the thumb of this beast, and their DNA and their RNA and their growth and evolution has been manipulated. From earth they came. From heaven to earth they came. The book of Enoch teaches you that. You want to go deeper? Who flooded the earth? Was it God that flooded the earth? Or was it their God that destroyed the earth because it couldn't have its way? Questions. Ask those questions. But know who they are. And know what the fourth revolution truly is. Man, I'm pretty stoked today, ain't I? This morning, man. Woo. Because this is what you got to know. For anybody that's just getting into this study of secret societies and studies of Illuminati, that is you have to know that before any book you start to move on from. Before you start getting into frequency and chakras and consciousness, you better understand energy and spiritual energy and how you can bring things from this world, out this world, pull things in, take things out of existence and pull things in it because they know it. Madonna, she knows it. Travis Scott, he knows it. Jay-Z, Marina Abramovich, they know it. Katy Perry, they study it. You think these people are stupid? They study it. They know. Black Lives Matter, Patrice Cullors, and all these leaders of the Black Lives Matter, which are known witches, they tell you that they are witches. This is no joke. That Black Lives Matter, Patrice Cullors, they are known witches. They declare themselves as witches. Let me see if I can find it real quick. See if I can find this. Now she has $1 million deal. One lady that's running Black Lives Matter in California is a declared witch, trying to summon the spirits of these dead people, quote unquote, killed by cops. That's what they're doing in these protests, summoning demons and summoning spirits of the dead. You can't make this stuff up. Go look it up. The videos are out there. The girl Patrice Cullors was performing art as a fallen angel, wearing fallen wings, black wings with, look like a fallen angel. The videos are out there. See if I can try to pull up some. Let me show you here real quick. These are the people they sent out to your streets to analyze you. Look at this image of this gross filth of a female with her tore up wings and destroyed wings, going to a dead, decaying tree. They tell you that they're artists. We're artists. We're black artists who, we're sharing black art, cultural. We're woke cultural art, black cultural art. No, it's voodoo. It's black voodoo. I don't mean race black. I'm saying black arts, black magic, voodoo. Can't make you can't make this stuff up. And when you start to understand these things, it takes you to a whole new concept, a whole new world. This idiot says, "Why do I fiddle?" or "The wild waves roar, that they might pound the rocky shore." He says, "I be blinded, that bosom swell, that souls cry carry down to hell." He says, this is Karl Marx. He says, "How so I plunged without fail, my blood black into your soul. That art God neither, look at that art God neither wants nor wist. It leaps to the brain from hell's black mist." This is the type, this is their hatred. This is who these people are. And you should never forget it. You should never forget that. So is there any, before I get ready to get out of here, is there any questions or I mean, I know you guys got a lot of comments, obviously, but um is there anything you guys want to mention? Is there any misclarification? And like I said, man, I'll be fair, you know, just go seek it out. Just go seek it out. Go seek the things that I said. The video is still here. The video is there. You can take the quotes and find it. They're in other places and other books. I put some sources up there if you want to, find it. But it's out there. Just be careful and just, pray over it before you start reading stuff so that you don't. But that is the top. It don't go any higher than what I described today. It don't go any lower. They destroy this earth, destroy this planet if they can get their fourth industrial revolution. We're not at that point yet, but we beat them 3 times. They've tried 3 times and they failed 3 times. They can fail again. We just have to survive. I appreciate you guys, man. You said, Rosin said, what was those 4 earlier points from you posted in the comments? Those 4 earlier points. Let me see if I still. Those 4 earlier points way up was those communist points. There's those 4 communist points that explain what a lot of things that we cover. You have to go back, but I'll paste them again. It's just some key things that those words you see them say, man. There's reasons for those words. So I'll hit it back here and you can read it. But this is the word comrade. All those words they use are not just silly words that you thought. The word revolution, and this fourth revolution and communism, there is always facade. You have to be willing to tear down the facade to see the truth, or what we think is the truth, or close to the truth. There's socialism and communism and Marxism and Black Lives Matter, Antifa and Democratic Party and even the Republican Party. These are all facades. You tear down a facade and you get to the core. The way you find the core is by looking at the founders of this logic, the founders of that philosophy, and what do the founders of that philosophy taught their pupils. What did Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin teach Klaus Schwab? Where do Bill Gates gets his philosophy? Surely he's not that wise enough to come up with this on his own. Surely he's not wise enough to know these things on his own. Just like his Microsoft was a stolen platform. He just steal ideas. These people rehash concepts. Where are they? Who is Bill Gates' pupil? This is his father. What doctrine of death do Anthony Fauci professes and prophesizes in the name of? Who taught Anthony Fauci his flawed version of medicine? His flawed, twisted, satanic medicine? Who taught that to him? What doctor trained him? And what doctor trained his doctor? Does it go back to the very same source? Who's the doctors of Karl Marx? Was it A.G. Farben? Was it Wacker Chemie, DuPont, Pfizer, Bayer, these Fourth Reich companies? Where do Pfizer come with its ingredients? Right? Who funded the money of Pfizer? The two brothers, Alex and Andreas Strungman. Who funded them, and where do they come from? What bloodline family are they from? That goes back to the Nazis, and the Nazis goes back to the Brotherhood of Saturn, like the authors of Nosferatu and Fritz Lang, who created Metropolis, and many others like them. I'm just naming a few. Your Hollywood directors and producers over the centuries. Hillary Clinton. Why do Hillary Clinton and her company, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, CGI, why do they own 70% of the world's water through the GDF Suez? And who controls the GDF Suez, whether it's Lionel de Rothschild? And why are they so adamant in controlling the world's water? Similar to what they did in Detroit, Michigan, and Flint, Michigan, and they poisoned all the water in Flint, Michigan years ago. How can such a woman with such corrupted behavior control such power on this earth, which is water? Maybe it's like the movie Dark City, because they hate water, because their bodies can't, and their bodies can't handle water. That's what it said, right? Right. When I read that to you guys, you got to go back, right? So they conquer what they hate, what they don't like. They don't like your freedom. They don't like your liberty. So they conquer your freedom and liberty by putting themselves in positions of power to restrict your freedom and liberty. They don't like your water. So they conquer the water market and create purified water and sell it to you in bottles for $1.99. They don't like your food. So they conquer your food. They conquer what makes you healthy. And they put chains of restaurants around your community that will destroy your health. They don't like your knowledge and your growth. They don't want you to have knowledge and wisdom connected directly through the source. So they control your school systems to prevent you from growing and thinking outside the box, their box. So they control your religions so that you think that you have to seek ye somewhere else for the kingdom of God to come into your life and into your heart. That the church is the Vatican, and the Vatican and the Unam Sanctum controls your life, when in reality, the church is you. Your body is the church. Your body is the temple. They tell you that you have to study pentagrams and inverted symbols and write them on the ground and summon demons in order to be able to call on the archangels and call on spiritual. But those symbols are written through you. Ask Agrippa. Teaches you, and others like him, knows the deeper thought that the symbols are written already in you. So you don't need a Ouija board. You don't need to practice witchcraft. You don't need to practice black magic and sorcery to summon and call on a spirit to help you fight against them. But they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. So they want you studying the left-hand path, teach you how to do things their way, which is completely backwards, completely wrong, takes forever, where you already got the word written in you through your DNA. But they hate your DNA and they hate your RNA, because your RNA and your DNA teaches you the things that they don't know. So what do? They destroy your RNA. They destroy your DNA. They recode you. They recode you. And I appreciate you, Hams R Us, but this is not a show. What I do is not a show. What I do and what I teach is not a show. And I appreciate you. I'm just saying, all due respect, this is not a show. This is information, knowledge, wisdom for those who keep it. If you don't keep it, just leave it and somebody else will pick it up, hopefully. This is real deal information that you better apply in your life. If you don't apply it to your life, then you just sitting around, you just looking for entertainment. This is real deal stuff that you ought to know and apply to your life. And that's what I do on this channel. And that's why I come here, because I don't have to tell nobody nothing. I can keep this stuff to myself, or teach it to my kids, or teach it to people that I see, close family. And let me tell you something. My life is peaceful. My life, for the most part, is happy, calm. Sure, we have issues and things that we go through, but I am very well balanced in my life. Thankfully, I have my health, got my health back, and I feel very in tune with who I am as a person, with my purpose in this world. And if I am faced with death, the illusion of death, I am perfectly peaceful with the life that I lived, and the effects that I've had on people in this life, that I don't feel afraid. So whether the beasts come looking for me and they want to send their shock troops, their fake military armies, their fake Department of Justice, their fake CIA to my house or to my family's house and wage war against me, let me tell you something. Like I told you, and I'll tell you again. I said it again. I'll say it now on live stream, YouTube, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, the federal government, the military, the Canadian government, the Luciferian government, the Jesuit army, the Jesuit demon army, the Jesuit soldiers, the troops, whatever y'all call y'all. So let me tell you something. You wage war against me, I would grab my sword and I'd have no problem cutting the head off of a demon. I would slay every demon that I come across, because you all definitely worship one alliance, and that one alliance is to the demon. And the reason I say that is because your very own doctrines tell you that. So this is not coming from me. Whatever demon you worship, I will send you and that demon back to where it came, and that's the truth. And when you guys blow me away too, I will not be going where you're going. I'm going to a different direction. We will forever be at opposites in this life and the next, because you've chosen, just like I've chosen through my free will and through my free expression, to vibrate at a different frequency compared to you. So we will always be diametrically opposites because of the energy you choose to vibrate and the frequency you choose to resonate on. So my light, whether the light from my sword or the light from my words, will blind you. So bring it. So bring it to the people. And that's why we have a fourth revolution. That's why they have a fourth revolution, because they can't beat us. And when they can't beat us, you know what they would do? They would destroy the entire earth. They will poison the entire earth. They will plague the entire earth for a certain period of time until they can rise again in the next 1,000 years. Let me say this and I'm gone. Hear my voice. In the next 200,000 years, when you see me again, at the same time again in 2,000 or 200,000 years, you see me again doing a live stream, I'm going to say the same thing to you again. And when I say the same thing to you again in the next 200,000 years, I'm going to be talking about the fifth industrial revolution that they're trying to wage against us. Think about that. I'll talk to you guys later. Be at peace, be safe, be peaceful, have a great life, have great health. I send great energy and great positive spirits you guys' way. Don't be down, stay strong, resist, know who they are, and now you do. And as always, man, wake up. It's 1984, and this is Wise, your host. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
You're lying. You still
think there are four?
How can I help seeing what's in front of my eyes? 2 and 2 are 4.
Sometimes. We've had all that out before. Sometimes they are 4, sometimes, if the state says so, they are 5. How many fingers?
I'm trying to see 5.
Which do you want? To persuade me that you see 5 or really to see them?
Really to see them.
Point 6.
Point 6.
Now how many fingers?
4. 4. What else can I say? 4.
Point 20.
Point 20.
You were curious about room 101. It is not one room, but many. This one, for instance. We will lead you, step by step, to the point from which there is no return. Never again will you be capable of love, or friendship, or joy of life, or laughter, or courage, or curiosity, or integrity. You will be hollow. We will squeeze you empty, and then we will fill you with ourselves, with love of Big Brother. Now, before we begin your cure, are there any